Okay, so in this video, I'm going to cover the backward outside 3-turn. Now the backward outside 3-turn, for me, in my opinion, is a little bit easier than the backward inside 3-turn, and the reason is the backward outside 3-turn, if something goes horribly wrong, you can put your foot down straight away, and it's okay. Backward inside 3-turn, if something goes horribly wrong, it's much harder to save it, okay? So typically, if you want to start with a backward to forward 3-turn, probably the outside is the better one. Now the concept is the same as a backward inside 3-turn. We need this twisting action of the shoulders against the hips to create the rotation. I recommend going with a little bit of speed, so from some backward crossovers, because it's hard to develop a very good strong backward push at the beginning. So it's best to start with a few backward crossovers like this. You can step on that outside edge, foot in close, rotate the body all the way, turn and check. And there's your 3-turn. Now, of course, when you get more advanced with the backward to forward 3-turns, you'll be looking at doing a push and a skate and a 3-turn and adding all the flair to it. But for now, we're going to keep things nice and simple. The goal is to step on this outside edge, here, rotate the body back to the circle and hit this nice straight line. It's going to be very tempting to hit this line. This line is going to encourage you to put your foot down immediately on the turn. So we try and hit this nice straight line. Think one line slightly into the circle like this, looking back where we're going, foot close to the skating foot, not anywhere unusual like this. We want it disciplined close, okay? Rotate like that. The moment you want to turn, pull back with the right shoulder. If you're heading this way on the right foot, obviously reverse it if you're going the other way. Pull back, turn to forwards and hold, okay? So this is the concept to generate the rotation. When you're doing it, you have to make sure that your weight goes from the front of the blade to the back to turn, and then, well, you probably keep it back actually because you're going forwards, all right? So it'll go more to the middle when you get to forwards. But if you leave the weight on the front of the blade during the turn, you're gonna find this happens and you don't turn. Weight going to the back makes a very quiet noise and a nice 3-turn, okay? So I start my crossovers, I step, 2-foot glide, 1 foot, rotate, hold, turn, keeping the foot in nice and close. You can open the foot a little bit on the entrance here. You see how my knee in this position is a little bit open, and then when I turn, I can close it to help with the check. That's what you're going to need to do if you find you're making this mistake where you rotate and you put the foot down immediately, okay? It's very common, so don't be surprised if that happens to you. It's going to be very tempting to put the foot down because it's hard to maintain the balance going from backwards to forwards like this. Okay, so some common mistakes that you see a lot with the backward to forward 3-turn. It's mainly an issue that comes from setting up with a bad axis like this and trying to turn like that. Too much weight out of the circle. It's like I'm getting pulled that way. I'm trying to stay on 1 foot here, but everything's pulling me over that way. It's very hard to do. With a lot of practice, of course, you can do it, but this, even for me, that feels really hard. But it's a very common thing you see when people are trying to learn this move. So it's really important to make sure you stay completely over an axis, over the correct axis like that. Like there's a pole running down from the top of your head, bam, down to your foot. And you stay on that line. You don't break off that axis at all, okay? So I'm just here. And you have to get comfortable holding that, and then turn will take care of itself afterwards. So if you want a way that you can practice this as simple as possible to start out, you can always start with a backward 2-foot glide. Rotate the position here, then lift the leg, then turn, then 2-foot glide forwards, okay? This will be maybe the simplest way to get used to rotating the body, finding the correct axis, and then you can say 1 foot, turn, back down with the other foot, okay? But eventually you want to work your way up to doing your backward crossovers like that, and just step rotate, turn.